Todd off to a bad start for next year. Least valuable Danette. Did you do this last year?
That's right. When you have one foot out the door and you're counting the minutes to vacation, that's what happened.
Come on,
be professional.
You got 40 minutes.
That was weak. I should have had that on your desk a few minutes ago.
Yeah, you got some notes here. You got to tell me that, the Rockets visit the Clippers tonight at 10:30 Eastern, and Reggie Miller will be on the call, Terry Gannon, and you didn't give me that information. I can't do that to Reg.
I was looking at the bacon and the steak and eggs and the biscuits.
I know. We do have steak and eggs coming up. We do have gravy and biscuits. Hi, Reg. How are you?
I'm great, Theodore. Todd, I'm disappointed in you, man. Come on, man. Years ago, you were always, a step ahead of everyone, and how the mighty have fallen. Well, come on now.
I'm mailing it in. It's not good for the last hour of the year here.
Were you ever late for a game?
For a game?
Yeah.
Never for a game. I think I was late maybe out of my whole 18-year career to a practice once, and it was because of a snowstorm, a rare snowstorm in Indiana. I wasn't a great driver in snow, and I was probably late, 15 minutes late to a practice.
Okay. So you weren't like Iverson?
Never. I'm military.
Oh, that's
Hello?
right. Yes, you're right.
Hello.
But how tough was your dad on all of you guys? You and your brother and your sister, like being a military, even when you show up for this show, like you're showing up early every time. But what was it like growing up in the household?
Because if you're 5 minutes early, you're really 5 minutes late. I just like to be prepared. I like things to work, as everyone knows. Things flow better with me when things are organized. So I like to come to you guys and make sure the picture looks good, we sound good.
Mm-hmm.
Growing up in the Miller household, it was, throw the quarter off the bed, make sure it bounced once or twice. We led this kind of life just because I think it helped in sports, because we were always first or second to practice. You got extra time. We always stayed late. Now my kids now don't like it. Like, Dad, you weren't in the military. We can see Papa, but you weren't in the military. I was like, well, I'm a product. Sorry.
Yeah, but you're not making the bed now at home.
Hello? Yes, I am.
Really?
Yes.
Can you make the bed better than your wife?
Absolutely. She's not making the bed. No, she does a great job of helping me make the bed.
Of course she does.
We instill in our kids that doing chores are something that kids are supposed to do.
Lakers play the Suns tonight. How long will it take for Dillon Brooks to get into it with LeBron?
I think it started right about now. Look, we love the antics. These two have had a history. What I just found out, which was a little surprising, I didn't know they both shared an agent, with Rich Paul. I didn't know they were both under the same umbrella. So these two guys, I don't know if it's an act or for show or if it's real, but it's popcorn. I'm going to tune in to see the highlights after my game. I want to see.
But, you see, we had this with Dennis Rodman and Karl Malone, but I don't know how many agitators there are. Or you kind of, like Draymond Green is a great agitator.
Well, we saw that was on Case in Point last night.
No, I know. With his coach.
Look, I think he had a Latrell Sprewell and PJ Carlesimo flashback moment.
You think he was going to go after Steve Kerr?
I don't think he was going to put hands on Steve Kerr. I think there's too much respect there. But I think he thought about the consequences. And I think he did the mature thing and removed himself from the situation. Now everyone's going to go back and dissect everything that happened that led up to that. I think it was a turnover, not getting back on defense. Look, if you're the Warriors, if you would have told me after 30 games this team would be 15-15 and in the play-in, I would have looked at you crazy, only from the simple fact of how they ended the season last year after the trade for Jimmy Butler. They were one of the top 5 teams. especially defensively. Fast forward to this year, defensively, they are horrible. And they can't seem to close games with one of the best closers in the game in Stephen Curry. So, look, emotions are building up. I applaud Draymond for removing himself from the situation so he's not a part of the Latrell Sprewell, PJ Carlesimo history. But where there's smoke, there's fire a little bit. That's going on with the Warriors right now.
Thunder have lost 2 of their last 4. And I don't know if this is where you go, okay, we don't have to try to go for the Golden State Warriors record. It's just like the Spurs mentality with Greg Popovich. Mm-hmm. I don't care what our record is until we get to the postseason. I know this is a young Oklahoma City team, and you want to have your mark and leave your mark. But, man, I want you ready to go in May and June. I don't care that you have 74, 75 wins. I want to know that you won the title.
I hope that's some of the conversations that are being had in that locker room. Again, and you mentioned this, and you are 100% correct. This is a young team, fresh off a championship. And if you want to be in the same breath as like a Chicago Bulls, well, the Chicago Bulls have that 72-10 record and winning the championship.
Yeah.
Now, remember, Golden State eclipsed that, but lost the championship, but was rewarded Kevin Durant in the process, and then went on to win back-to-back championships. So if you're the Thunder, do you want to be put in that vein? Or if you go back-to-back, you're already, you're with the Warriors, you're with the Bulls. So I don't think winning and eclipsing that Golden State record is that important. I think, again, I've always said this on this show, playing well the end of March and April and moving on is the most important thing. As long as health, that's the number one key. If Shea continues to be healthy, he's on that unbelievable 100, I think it's 100 games now, scoring 20-plus points. And now they've got their Pippen back and J-Dub. So this team, again, is going to continue to roll. I just hope they don't go after it at the sake of winning a championship and tiring out some guys.
If Golden State had won that championship instead of the Cavaliers, would Kevin Durant...
You never get Durant.
That's why I was going to say, that never would have happened, right?
Never would have happened. Because remember, during that, OKC and Russell Westbrook and KD, they were up 3-1 on that team and lost. And then if they went on to win the championship, he doesn't oh, okay, well, I'll join them now. That was kind of, the door was a little bit open for them to join them. Hey, you guys won 73 games, but you didn't win the championship. He joins them. They win back-to-back. He's finals MVP, back-to-back. So he has his chips. But if the Warriors won that, in my humble opinion, I don't believe KD would have joined them.
Talking to Reggie Miller, NBC Sports NBA lead game analyst, the Rockets at the Clippers. And the Clippers, that's a bad situation.
It is, all the way around. But again, I think the writing was on the wall even before they rolled the balls out for training camp with the whole Kawhi aspirations and money under the table and circumventing the salary cap.
How often do you think this happens, Reg? I mean, let's just look at this from a business perspective of, I can pay you this, and all of these guys are billionaires. I can give you side money. I can give you something that you'll be paid.
It happens. It absolutely happens because you have so many sponsors in-house where it could be a commercial here or an appearance, a few appearances here. But when there's a track record of you never showing up for X amount of dollars, I mean, that's a red flag. It's a red flag. It happens, but they got caught, basically.
Yeah, I have to believe there are some marquee players who've gotten side deals. We can pay you this under the salary cap, but we're going to entice you by giving you this.
I'm sure it happens. It never happened this way. I wish it would have in Indiana.
But when you were at UCLA and you had no-show jobs, what were they What were they giving you back then?
Giving me, well, now that we can talk about things because of the NIL, wow, they gave me, no, I had free housing. I will say that. I had a plush free housing. To tell you the truth, I was the original Fresh Prince of Bel-Air because I did have a nice free housing in Bel-Air.
Now,
so I was the original.
Okay, but how does that work that you got a free crib in Bel-Air?
That was it.
Like somebody's paying your rent.
Well, no, it was a mansion, and I stayed in the guest house.
Wait, were you Kato Kalin before Kato Kalin?
I was the Fresh Prince, and I was Kato Kalin. Exactly.
Yes,
I was.
You were Kato Kalin with a jump shot there. Okay, I like that.
That was the real perk. That was the only perk I had because. Again, back to my military dad. My dad didn't want other people having favors over you, because he was like, hey, they're always going to want something, son.
True.
They're always going to want something. So Pops was he had a hand on it as well.
I'm not sure how often you get on these courts that we had during the Cup that they're painted. And some players have talked about they're slippery. Did you notice a difference in a regular game court and for the Cup when they dress them up?
The gloss can be a little bit different. I wasn't on any this year, but last year when we did do games, it wasn't so much them being slippery, it was sight lines. And they were so bright for a shooter, some of the glare from the lights, because remember now, the lights are coming down from the top. The glare would be a little bit outstanding, but look, it's a marketing thing. I get it. And in today's age of Nintendo and all these PS5s and kids like the shiny new things. That's where we're at with this, Theodore.
The worst court you ever played on?
Without the shine, you mean personally that I played on?
Yeah, the worst court you ever played on.
The old sports arena where the Clippers used to play before they moved.
Okay.
Wasn't great. The old sports arena downtown, terrible for your knees.
What about Boston Garden?
Yeah, but there's history in there.
Oh, you were okay with it? Yeah, but there's gaps in the
There
parquet.
is, but there's history in there.
All right.
I like to hit that. The old Chicago Stadium. Oh, the roar of the crowd for him, that dude. The atmosphere was great. I like playing in places like that.
The best shooting arena is where?
You know what I'm going to say? MSG. No question. It is the best arena, in my opinion. The smell of the zoo and the popcorn and the elephants in the back, the Broadway lighting, the celebrities in the front row, you see nothing but court in the front row. And it is the best place to play. The best, by far.
The Spurs seem to be ahead of schedule.
Yes.
That's another young team.
Listen, they have taken a page, and this is how, we're a copycat league. Look at the success of the Thunder. You build through the draft. You get all these guards that can pick you up full court. They have a generational type player. Thunder have SGA. The Spurs have Wemby. Both got young coaches that are innovative. They both play deep. 9, 10, and everyone plays the same way, and they play for one another. And you see more teams doing that. The young Chicago Bulls are trying to do that. The Pacers were on this path until Hallie got hurt, with young players all being able to play one way. And you're just seeing a trend happen. And the Spurs right now, to me, the only thing is, can Wemby make it to the finish line healthy?
Yeah.
Health will be the only thing with him. But they've shown without him, they continue to win. But they're a much better team defensively when he's in the lineup.
Yeah, I'm wondering who he reminds you of defensively.
I think he's a mixture of Hakeem Olajuwon with his instincts, but being able to block shots and intimidate, a lot like Dikembe a little bit. I think he's a hybrid of those two. And then a lot of people don't want to talk about Ralph Sampson. I think Ralph Sampson at that size was ahead of the game as well. I think his name gets lost in the shuffle in terms of describing Wemby. Ralph Sampson, Hall of Famer Ralph Sampson, was great at both ends of the floor, a lot like Wemby.
Yeah, I imagine Ralph Sampson now, then we wouldn't have any problem with 7'4" guy playing on the perimeter. But back then, you're like, what are you doing? Get inside. Your coach would always say, whatever, get inside.
See how the game has changed? Because when Ralph was around, it was all about the big men and being inside. Moses Malone, Patrick Ewing, all of Kareem. He grew up in that era where the game was played inside out. Today, the game is played outside in, and Wemby's in this generation. And if Ralph Sampson played today and his skill set, like a former teammate of mine would be unbelievable in today's game. Rick Smits would be great in today's game at 7'2", 7'3", could face up, shoot, great passer. He would be great in today's game.
But where is the evolution? Like, what's the next evolution of the NBA? 10 years from now.
Dare I say there may be a 4-point shot?
Would you be in favor of that?
The game, everything evolves. Life evolves. I have no problem with that. Now, it's going to mess up the records. If I'm Stephen Curry, I would be upset with that. But in 10 years, I would not be surprised if there's a 4-point line.
What about removing the 3-point line?
Altogether?
Yeah.
I think that adds flair to it. That will never happen. That adds too much flair.
But
so you mean just have a 4-point line or just have 2-pointers?
Have a 4-point line.
Oh, I like that then. I can do that.
But is basketball, okay, I know we go old school and get caught up in the aesthetics of basketball. I'm not talking about the 90s when it wasn't, aesthetically pleasing, except for the Bulls. But it's just a lot of threes. Is that good? Is that good for the game?
I would love to see a little bit more inside play, but the game has become international, universal. There's a lot of people that are progressive that want to push the game forward.
Would you ever widen the court? Can you widen the courts? Would you ever consider raising the basket?
No.
Okay.
No,
would you widen the court?
Look, if you widen the court, again, you're taking revenue away from these owners. No, you got to factor that in.
I know. It's just these guys are getting so big, and there's only so much room out there. Like, there's certain guys who can't go to the corner because their shoes would probably be out of bounds and be on the line.
I would be in favor of widening it a little bit. I would be okay with a 4-point play. Maybe they would have to tell me how this would work, or maybe bring in a 4-point play the last 3 minutes of a game. I don't know. Look, we're getting gimmicky a little bit. I would just like to see a little bit more inside play. It was so good when you had dominant big men who could, play with their back to the basket. You just don't see a lot of that anymore.
What about a red, white, and blue basketball?
Hey, I'm in favor of that. My ABA guys, Uncle Mel Daniels, Roger Brown, Bob Nedelicki. Come on now.
Would you be in favor of a red, white, and blue ball?
I would. I like that. It was so cool.
It looked great. When you had...
Didn't it look good?
When you're shooting and you had that backspin.
That was fire back in the day.
I know.
Fire.
I know. All right. Well, we'll see if we can get the commissioner on. I'll make some suggestions.
I think they're going overseas first. That's their first order of business from what I've been hearing.
Yeah.
We're going to have a European league.
I know.
How that will work, I don't know, but I think that's first.
And I was hearing some of the price tags. I'm talking to somebody who was actually helping to negotiate in a city over there, and he was telling me numbers, and I go, man, are they going to be able to raise that kind of money over here? And he said, yeah, they're playing the long game with this, and that basketball, a European basketball league is coming. So you're going to have, Madrid and Barcelona and, Italy, Greece, Paris, all of that. That's coming. It's coming soon. All right. Have fun tonight. Say nice things about the Clippers if you can.
I will.
No.
Kawhi will show up.
Is Kawhi playing?
Kawhi's supposed to play. As of today, he's supposed to be playing. Yes.
He gets paid whether he shows up or not.
That is true. They all do.
Yeah. Thank you, Reg.
Appreciate it. Happy holidays, Theodore, to you and yours, and to my dad Nets. Go open those presents, guys. Go open them.
That's Reggie Miller, Hall of Famer. He got the Rockets and the Clippers tonight. And you also have, let me see, so that'll be at 10:30 Eastern. So Rockets and the Clippers. You also have, who is it, the Lakers and the Mavs? Is that the other game, Marv?
I know it's Lakers-Suns tonight.
Lakers-Suns, my bad. Lakers-Suns.